In this, our second session on Vasily Kandinsky, we are going to be looking at the different ideas that Kandinsky had for his abstract works of art. And we're going to be thinking about how we can answer this question. How can I represent music as an image? In our last session, we looked at the influences behind Kandinsky, and we learnt how in his early career he was inspired by the Impressionists such as Monet, before he started travelling around Europe and was then shown the influence of artists like Matisse, where his artwork became more abstract. This meant that he was getting mood and emotions represented by the colours and shapes that he was using, rather than trying to paint things as you see them, as you look at them. So he was trying to convey his own opinions and emotions through his artwork. Kandinsky was trying to develop a language for art, a way of showing ideas and feelings using these colours, shapes and patterns. And we can see here the Black-Red painting, one of his famous artworks. And I want us to pause on this. I want us to think about some questions. I want you to look closely and think, what can you actually see in that artwork? What do you think about these paintings? What comes to mind when you look at it? What emotions do you have for it? How do they make you feel? And then looking at them, do they remind you of any other artwork that you might have seen? So just pause the video for a few moments and just think about those 4 questions. So what can you see? What do you think about these paintings? How do they make you feel? And do parts of them remind you of anything else you've seen? Now, with those answers that you just created, the great thing about art is there's no right or wrong. There's just your opinions, and as long as you can explain them to others, they're as valid as anyone else's. Here you can see another piece of artwork that Kandinsky did. This is 1928's Mild Process. Now, I want you to think about those same 4 questions looking at this artwork. And please remember, your opinions on this, your answer to these questions are as valid as anyone else's. So I might sit here and have completely different answers to these. But it doesn't make me any more right or any more wrong than yourself. So pause the video, take a look, and think about the different things that you can see in this picture. What do you think about this painting? How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel different than the previous painting? And do parts of them remind you of anything, whether it be artwork you've seen, or maybe even things you've heard, things you've smelled, or maybe things you've seen in real life? And our final piece is On the Points from 1928. Again, pause the video and think about the 4 questions you can see. What can you see? What do you think about these paintings? How do they make you feel? Do parts of them remind you of anything? And remember that Kandinsky, he's developing a language for art. So the idea behind this painting is he's showing you his ideas and feelings about whatever he's painting. And he's doing that by using different colours, different shapes, and different patterns. He's simplifying them really quite cleverly, but you'll see the same shapes, the same colours, the same images represent the same things. So pause the video and think about those 4 questions. What can you see? What do you think about these paintings? How do they make you feel? And do parts of them remind you of anything? Now here we see Kandinsky's Composition 6 from 1913. Now Kandinsky said that he saw colours and shapes when he heard certain sounds or music. And this is one of the pieces of artwork he created, which was to represent those sounds and music. So when you look at this piece of art, what can you personally see? And what effect the shapes and the colours that you see on the artwork have on you? So remember, this is about sounds and music. What sort of sounds and music do you think that Kandinsky was listening to or hearing when he actually created this artwork? So pause the video, think about those 2 questions, and then come and join me when you're ready. Now, having created Composition 6, it's only right and fair that Kandinsky then painted Composition number 7 in 1913. And he was inspired by music and used shapes and colours to express the sounds made by the different instruments in an orchestra. So your question for this one is, what music, sounds or instruments do you think this painting might describe? And I want you to have a little think about that before you go and have a listen to the actual music itself. Now on the website there's another link. I'd like you to go onto that, and there will be an audio track with this picture on top of it, just to see how close you were with the different instruments that you think Kandinsky was painting and what was actually there. So now's a good time to pause the video, have a listen to the second video clip, and then come and join me again once you've had a little think about that. So now you've sort of appreciated the type of music that Kandinsky was listening to when he was creating these paintings. Here we can see two more. On White 2 from 1923 and Several Circles from 1926. Now looking at these images, what sounds do you think Kandinsky was trying to describe? If you were trying to make a sound that accompanied these, trying to create a soundscape for these paintings, what would your soundscape be? Would it be loud? Would it be quiet? Would it be harmonious? Would it be painful for the listening? Would it be something classical? Would it be something contemporary, something new? Would it be instrumental, or would it be vocal? So thinking about these two images, how would you describe the sounds that you think they're representing? Now Kandinsky isn't the only artist who uses this idea of colours, shapes and sounds and links them together. In fact, artists from across different types of media do the same. The artists Carol Steen and David Hockney, for example, they both make paintings which describe sounds that can be made. Pharrell Williams and Lady Gaga, they associate colours with sounds in their music videos. So in this case, they're using colours to represent the sounds they're actually making, rather than making colours to represent sounds they're listening to. And Hans Zimmer, the famous composer who composes scores for lots of films, is inspired by the colours of the films he uses. And he mentions here, on The Lion King I had black and white drawings to work with, and I'm still kicking myself about one scene because I got the colour and the music wrong. I didn't get the emotion right because the colours were clashing. So he actually looked at the images that were being created, and based on those colours is how he was trying to get his emotion. So maybe next time you look at The Lion King or one of the Hans Zimmer films, you'll be thinking about how those colours are representing things. Does he have a special habit that gets created, a trend where one colour always means one type of emotion, and you can sense that through the music? So before we move on to our independent activity, I just want you to end up with this activity. Looking at these different things: clean laundry, tarmac, cut grass, sewage, petrol, citrus fruit, smelly feet. I want you to think about the images or colours that you think of when you remember those smells. So for this one, take one of the words, close your eyes, and just think about what shapes and colours you would actually have. For example, clean laundry. Would it be a fresh colour? Would it be a clean colour? Would it be a big shape, a small shape? Would it be a smooth shape or a rough shape? And try with all the others, and just have a little think. See what colours you would associate and shapes you would associate before we move on to our independent activity. Now our independent activity today is to create a piece of artwork inspired by some music. So this could be some of the music that I've provided on the handout on the website. So it could be some classical music, maybe a soundtrack from a film, maybe a song you've heard of. Maybe you're going to choose some different music. And when you're thinking about it, I want you to, in your artwork, think about how that music makes you feel. Is it a sad, a happy, a nervous, an excited piece of music? And what colours would you represent with that emotion? Then what I'd like you to do is think about the individual sounds you can hear. So the instruments that you're hearing, what sort of colour, what sort of shape would they be? Would there be lines? Would they be thick? Would they be thin? Would they be smooth? Would they be jagged? So think about those different ideas of the feeling with the colour, and then the individual sounds that you're hearing with the different shapes, and whether you're going to be adding some different colours to that. What does that piece of music make you think about? Can you use some abstract shapes or patterns to describe what you're picturing? Remembering that Kandinsky, when he does his artwork, he uses very simplified shapes So if you're trying to draw a person, think how you can simplify it down to just one simple shape that you can recognise as a person, but maybe other people might interpret slightly differently. So some top tips for this: keep it simple. What is the most basic shape you can use to represent that thing you're trying to sketch? Remember to practice first. Try sketching the same thing in different ways. See which one you like the best. And think about your arrangement. Think about how you're going to put all these different elements together before you start sketching them. And then you're going to create your own Kandinsky artwork. So step 1, select your music. Step 2, think about the emotion you're feeling, the individual sounds you're hearing, and what it's making you think about. And think about the different ways you can represent them through both shapes and colours. And once you're happy, then create your own Kandinsky work of art. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing your artwork.